Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Thank you for joining us. Together, we are Backyard Musings.
And we are talking a very cool story. I guess this would be about science, right?
Yeah, definitely. Health
very
science. Overactivity in the reticular thalamic nucleus was shown to cause autism-like behaviors in mice. Drugs that reduce this activity reverse the symptoms.
Nice.
Stanford Medicine researchers have discovered that hyperactivity in a brain region known as the reticular thalamic nucleus may underlie behaviors associated with autism spectrum disorder. By dampening activity in this area using experimental drugs and neuromodulation techniques, they were able to reverse autism-like symptoms in mice, from seizures to social deficits. The findings were recently published on August 20th, 2025 in Science Advances. Would you like to know more?
Okay, it's not often that we get to talk about a local college, but
yeah,
this is kind of cool. Researchers at Stanford Medicine studying the neurological basis of autism spectrum disorder have found that excessive activity in a particular brain region may be responsible for driving behaviors commonly linked to the condition. Using a mouse model of autism, the team identified the reticular thalamic nucleus, a structure that filters sensory information between the thalamus and cortex, as a promising treatment target.
Importantly, they showed that administering drugs to dampen activity in this brain region reversed autism-like symptoms in the mice, including seizure susceptibility, heightened sensitivity to stimuli, increased motor activity, repetitive actions, and reduced social interaction. That's a lot.
Very cool.
Drugs.
Yeah, that's drugs very cool. These same drugs are also under investigation as potential treatments for epilepsy.
Nice.
Yeah, underscoring how the mechanisms that drive autism spectrum disorders and epilepsy may intersect in the brain and help explain why the two conditions often appear in the same individuals. The senior author of the study is John Huguenard, PhD, professor of neurology and neurological sciences. The lead author is Sung-Soo Zhang, PhD, a postdoctoral scholar in neurology and neurological sciences.
Okay. Yeah. Connections between the thalamus and cortex have been linked to autism in both people and animal models. I didn't know animals got autism unless
they make them.
Unless they make them so they can study. But the specific contribution of the reticular thalamic nucleus had remained uncertain. In the new study, the researchers recorded the neural activity of this brain region in mice while observing the animal's behavior in mice that had been genetically modified to model autism, CNTNAP2 knockout mice. I guess that's what they call it.
Okay.
The reticular thalamic nucleus showed elevated activity when the animals encountered stimuli like light or an air puff, as well as during social interactions. The brain region also showed bursts of spontaneous activity causing seizures.
So some people I would think would maybe even think that you're kind of torturing the animal, right? Air puffs and excessive light. But this is a great thing that they're being able to study here. And
maybe on beagles, but mice?
Yeah, but some people are weird, but this is very cool. So epilepsy is much more prevalent in people with autism than in the general population. 30% versus 1%, though the mechanisms are not well understood. Recognizing this connection, the researchers tested an experimental seizure drug, Z944, and found that it reversed behavioral deficits in autism mouse models.
So I wonder if the drug has to keep being administered, like weekly or daily, in order to
keep the mouse
keep the autism symptoms away, or if that just irreversibly reverses it. I wonder. With a different experimental treatment that genetically modifies neurons to respond to designer drugs known as DREAD, DREADD, based neuromodulation, the researchers could suppress overactivity in the reticular thalamic nucleus and reverse behavioral deficits in the autism mouse model. They could even induce these behavioral deficits in normal mice by ramping up activity in the reticular thalamic nucleus. The new findings highlight the reticular thalamic nucleus as a novel target for the treatment of autism spectrum disorders.
So a lot of that reticular thalamic nucleus mentioned a lot in this. So
Yeah. So let's watch this.
Yeah,
Let's see where it goes.
This kind of stuff is just very cool when
Very
they come
promising.
up with. Yeah, and hopefully they do this.
Just imagine that would help so many families.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, there's people. I mean, I have family that are on the spectrum and stuff. So
It would help, like, that are deep on the spectrum, help those kids.
you'd think so,
Totally.
and epilepsy too.
Yeah.
I went to school
yeah.
with a kid that had epilepsy, and it was tough, man. I mean, the parents dealing with that, and then the kid having to deal with that, and I mean, he kind of got messed with and stuff. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, these are two good feel good things right here.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Thanks, folks, for joining us. Catch you in the afternoon.
take care, everyone. Thanks.